What is up, peeps? As they call it in show business, a cold open. No bumper music, no videos. I have some stuff I do want to show you, but just come in and kind of shoot the shit about Delphi. And I have a couple updates on some other things too, but I've been laying my theory out here for about the past 3 weeks. And I put another video out today. They're short, they're all about 3 or 4 minutes long. It takes a long time to make a 3 or 4 minute video. So hats off to some of the creators that make the really good videos. I have a new appreciation for them. Even videos that I might not agree with their theory, I could appreciate like the value of the video. So I'm no Steven Spielberg, but I think I'm getting better. But let's say hi to everybody. Hope Sandy was here early. Hopefully she's back. What's up, Shane? I did not catch Greeno's live last night. If it's worthwhile, check it out. I saw you talking about it down here a little bit. Rescue all the dogs. How are you? I sent you a thing on Discord about a dog here in McKeesport that someone, when they threw out their furniture and they moved, they just left this dog on the couch. And in about 2 weeks, the dog had already been adopted and was sleeping next to a Christmas tree. So I think I shared that in my Discord too. What's up, mother? Just Deb, what's up? Oh, Sandy's back. Good. Yeah, I have a basket that I should have done. Actually, I should have already done it. I'm looking at it now. I don't know if I'm going to do it tonight or not. I got some running around to do tomorrow, but tomorrow's payday. And one of the new sales cycles for one of the grocery stores I go to that has a lot of gluten-free stuff. So I kind of wait on that, and I'll check out the ads tonight. Okay, here Shane was talking about what was on Greeno last night. Alan was caught using Kathleen's dead brother's Facebook to talk to young girls and send them pics. I've heard something similar to that. I don't have any evidence of anything. I could say this. I think that there's 3 pretty good creators looking into it like together, that possible connection of maybe even the relevance of where Kathy's mother lived and where other people lived that may or may not be linked to the case. But they're working on that. I think you'll see some stuff come out. I never heard that exact one though, but there's a lot we don't know. There's a lot we don't know. I know that. Oh, okay. See, now that's sort of part of my theory, but not with the different motorcycle. I think we're going to find out about that in court. And if the tire tracks were that distinctive or whatever the case may be, they would be able to track. If that was the case, like you're saying, Shane, and that's the first time I heard that. It's definitely interesting. I'm definitely going to look into it. They would still be able to link the type of vehicle, the type of tires that were bought, anything like that. They would have been able to link that and see that too. So that's definitely interesting. But I didn't see that, but I'll check that out. Yeah, someone pointed me out a long time ago, and they wouldn't tell me what it was. And they says, look at one thing and then look at the other thing. See what they're looking for and see what they take. And why did they take that? And initially I was off on the reason. I thought maybe why he took it or whatever the case may be. But I think we'll find all that out in court, whether it was anything or not. I think it was, but what's up, Jolien? What's up, Tattoo You? Kelt? Yeah, it's you need to have some merit to back it up, Kelt, but I think that's worth looking into. It's interesting. It could be BS, but I don't know. It's the first time I heard that particular rumor or theory or however you want to say it. But it's interesting, though. I like interesting things. I can run it down, and maybe you could say, hey, this didn't happen, or maybe it's like, oh, hey, something to it. Miranda, what's up? Yeah, Miranda's sick of rumors and speculation. Unfortunately, in the holding pattern that we're in, I'm going to call it kind of a holding pattern. You have the Supreme Court coming up the 18th. Trial probably not till October. I don't know a lot about the law. I can't imagine that they're going to give him this quick trial thing. His attorney was supposed to file for it, but admitted he did it for whatever reason. I don't know what the reasoning was. He said he had it drawn up within like 2 months prior. So whatever the case may be, but you're going to have a lot of speculation, especially in this case, because so much is hidden. But with speculation, it's a slippery slope. Like, so if I can speculate about these things, then other people can speculate about other things too. And even if I say, well, that's crazy, they might say what I say, that's crazy. But I think you're seeing it more here than in other cases, honestly. It's just, I don't know. Delphi is just quite a rabbit hole for everyone involved in some way, shape, or form. If you've covered Delphi, you've been down rabbit holes. Whether you believe them or not, still, you went down some holes. Yeah. Yeah. And that doesn't always mean it's true. So like, I've never really believed things on their face value from any creators. There's a few creators that I really trust. And if they tell me something, I'll give them more, like if we put it on a PCA level, I'll give them more 50% probability, sometimes 75 or 80. But I also need to see where they got that from or how they got that. On occasion, I do trust people with things. If everything they give you is consistently good and they give you something and says, listen, I can't show you how I got this right now, but trust me, this is how this happened. So, it's kind of is what it is. Here, people's speculation goes really off the deep end in some occasions, in my opinion, with blaming of the family and different things like that. But, if I could speculate, they should be able to speculate too, I guess, as long as they're not harming anybody with their speculation or attacking people. I don't know. That's a good question. That's a slippery slope. I don't really know how I feel about that. I'd have to think about that more. I just gave you my initial thoughts on it, but Kelt and Miranda, you guys basically gave me something to think about. Philly's Finest, what's up? Kelt, I also will check it out. Let me tell you why I'm here today and what we want to talk about. I do have a couple of things I want to show you, Delphi related. Philly's Finest. Kathy and Richard have conflicting statements about when they got rid of motorcycle. Okay, so I guess this was based last night. I'll have to go back and watch that. That's all interesting to me. If that statement is proven to be true, and I have not looked into this, and I don't think anybody's a liar or just lying or making shit up, but I can't say for sure it's true. Let's look into it. Let's see. Eventually it'll come out, I believe, one way or the other. But if that statement's true, if we take that statement right there on face value and say it's true, that would certainly lead me to believe that Kathy, if Richard Allen is the guy that did this, if he's guilty, that Kathy Allen didn't know. She didn't know. She didn't want to know, or she didn't know. You know what I mean? Because they've had their stories worked out. And again, we're assuming something that was said on a podcast is true. Maybe it was, maybe it wasn't. I don't think the people that are saying it here or the people that were mentioned to said it last night would just blatantly make it up. So maybe there's some substance to it, but let's check into it. That's what we do here, right? That's what all of us like to do. We like to dig around. Oh, well, that's an interesting way to put it, Sandy, but I feel you too. What loses me when I'm following somebody is when the show becomes about them and their drama and whatever. If you want to do a show about yourself, do a show about yourself by all means. But if you're a true crime show, cover cases, or things that are around cases, not like, people just go back and forth about other people. And, to think that we know how busy police are and we know everything that's going on, and it has to get to the point where people have to take others to court. And I'm not knocking them for doing that, but they feel that it's, that they're whatever, that they've been wrong legally. And to think that you come here for that and you descend into that, it's the internet, it's social media, and YouTube is no different. So I just try to steer, and I listen to people that have opposing opinions of me, because I'm an old ball coach. That's how you scout the other team, right? You scout them, you look and you say, what are they saying? Maybe something they're saying is proven what I'm saying is bullshit. I got to go back and review this. Oh, there's something to that. Doesn't mean we don't got to like each other, or if you might not like the way a person delivers something, but if they're giving you the skinny and they're giving you information to help you, if you're in the investigative mode or whatever you're doing, if you're just here to see drama and stuff, then there's a lot of channels. And I got to be honest with you, I watch some of them too because they're entertaining. But I don't watch that for true crime. I almost watch that with like my entertainment channels and my comedy channels. I wouldn't put them with the true crime, the people that I really am into. But anyways, that's my 2 cents on that. I don't know. Everybody's different. Doesn't mean I'm right. Yeah, everybody needs receipts. You do. Well, I don't think that Honeybee was challenging you, but I mean, obviously, anyone's going to say that. Oh, thank you. I'd like to do more, actually. Even if we just come shoot the shit about nothing, or whatever anyone else has, different cases, but. Well, everyone be nice. I agree with the evidence thing that you're saying, Philly, but if you make a statement like what you said, and it could be true, everyone's going to say, how did you know that? Or how do you know that to be sure? So, and I say that in my theory, I said a lot of it's taken from, none of it's taken from the Frank's motion. All of it's taken from the PCA, from people that I've talked to, from investigative things that I've done. And there are some leaps there. There are some, I think it's a deductive reasoning that we could assume that this is this. That's not a crazy theory or anything like that, but it is a theory. So I've talked for almost 15 minutes already. Everybody here, everyone be nice in the chat, please. Philly's Finest, Kevlar148, hotmail.com. If you have anything, I'm interested in looking at it. I'm not going to, I don't think anyone's going to come just live for any reason. But anything that you have on it, because I see where you're going down a kind of road I'm going down. But the other thing I never heard before, Michigan national champions. Awesome, right? I don't got to go into that. You're not here to hear me gloat about the Wolverines or my Pittsburgh Steelers, who finagled their way into the playoffs some way, somehow, and they're in. Now they're 10-point underdogs at Buffalo. They're expecting a lake effect snowstorm, 21 degrees with near whiteout conditions. Now, to me, that helps the Steelers. I know Buffalo's home. Our guys are used to playing in cold weather, but we're not necessarily looking to throw the ball maybe once or twice down the field to Pickett, or to Pickens, I should say, but that's too many points. If it's a double-digit spread, you got to take the Steelers. That's just my 2 cents. I did a podcast Monday night. Ralph and the neighbor, it's called the Anyone Could Do It show. They're on YouTube. They are on iTunes and Spotify and stuff like that. That should be dropping real soon. Do a lot of talk about fire department, about true crime stuff, we talk about Kimberly Krimm. So once I have that, I'll share that here. We filmed a vignette of me running up the steps and there's a fire alarm going off, but it's not the kind of fire that you think is going on. But maybe if you've watched my channel for a while, you might know where we go. But I'll show it to you. It should be really good. And it was a lot of fun to do. Just expanding myself a little bit, trying to get things. I talk about Delphi. I talk about Flora. Everyone knows about Delphi. I talk about Flora. Maybe a couple of people watching that will pick up on that. Flora right now, to me, is kind of in a holding pattern as far as, would have like to have Galen out here and talking and stirring things up a little bit. Maybe the right person sees her and just, I can't carry the secret anymore. And based on everything that's happened in the background now, that's kind of taking a step back. That's totally understandable. I'm still taking information. I'm still talking to Kathy, still working back and forth, trying to get any kind of thing. I have a POI that I'm working, and I told Kathy about it, and I could be right and I could be wrong, but there's other connections that are forming over there, and it's very interesting. So I'll always work on Flora. I mean, until there's an arrest and someone goes to jail for that, I'll always work on that. Kimberly Krimm, Ralph, one of the guys from the podcast, the same age as her. He knows her very well. I've talked to him. We're going to do some work together. I posted on my social media, I think it was December 29th, that I was going to start working on this local case. And I've gotten 22 tips, varying from holy shit to that's probably not true, but who knows? So we're running it all down. A lot of people are helping. I have ex-McKeesport police officers that want to help. I have the name of the retired detective that worked this case. I'm going to reach out to him. In Pennsylvania, they're not supposed to talk to you about an open case. My brother told me that. He was an AG agent. He said, no matter how good your intentions are, you can't just go there and get the case file. You can't FOIA it. It's considered open, even though it's from 1998. So we'll see what happens. I was able to talk to Jeannie Krimm, to Kimmy's mom. We talked for about an hour. She shared some things with me, some investigative routes that I'm going to take. And one of the first things I'm going to do, as soon as this wind dies down, we've had wind here for a week. It's like Chicago, downtown Chicago last week here. I'm going to walk the walk that she walked. She went through a hole in the fence that was in the cemetery, and I'm going to film that, film the scene. I'll share that here with you with the ideas of getting it and maybe in front of someone else's eyes that's, hey, you're not seeing this, Coach Kev, look over here. So we're going to run all that down, vet all that out. And I have about 35 people that I'm going to talk to and interview. So that's going to be a while. So I don't know how many updates I'm going to have on here about that case, but always know in the background that's one that I'm working. And I actually have about 4 or 5 people that I went to school with that either moved away or still local that are helping me with talking to people and running information down. Because sometimes people won't go to the police, but they'll come to a guy like me. Or not me, but a YouTuber for whatever reason. So let me catch up with our chat. I'm not sure what's going on. Hey, Frank's here. We were talking about Frank's team not making the playoffs, even though they beat my team. Yeah. Well, I'm not sure. Like I said, this is Philly's first time in here. And if Frank wants to say anything, Frank always speaks for himself. But yeah, if you have something, I sincerely mean that. You email it to me. I'd love to see it. Yeah. But anyways, so moving on here a little bit. This is part 4 came out today, right before I show you a couple of things that I have that I want to show you in my Gmail that I sent to myself. So more and more is coming out about things. So let me just give you a quick whoosh over the top of what my theory is and what I've released up to this point. Yes, Keegan Klein's involved. And this is something where I kind of go off on what other people believe. I think that Keegan Klein actually catfished Abby, not Libby. Whether she had a phone or other device, the attraction there that bridge guy ended up having was with Abby, right? We know, and I think you probably know that I think that Richard Allen is going to put that out in the series. I don't think that that's going to be a spoiler of any way, shape, or form. What's going to be spoiler is who his sister knew about things, because that's going to be like, some people are like, oh, what the hell are you talking about? But long rumored, he had some negative interaction with her. Don't know exactly what that was. That's speculative, but I've heard that so many places. We know that he drank at the bar where her mom bartended at. So they had to know each other. It would seem that he would talk about that with her, whether he's innocent or guilty. And I don't mean like come in and just open up to it, like have a couple drinks. Hey, how you doing, honey? Is everything okay? Just being a normal person or human being. How do you not talk about it? The flyers are everywhere. So I think that somehow, some way that it goes back to that. I think that some of the investigation went that way. And you see that with the Odenism thing where they locked in on Holder and said, oh, hey, this was her boyfriend. And I believe Westfall lied in the sleuth interview about a couple things, certainly with Flora, certainly knowing the kids, 100% lied about that. He also lied about, oh, he came over, but they never saw each other. They just talked on the phone. So you have 13-year-old boyfriend, girlfriend, they're in the same town, they go to different schools, and they're over their buddy's house, and you're not going to see that girl. I mean, come on, we're older here, a lot of us, but times haven't changed since then. So they went down that route and came that way. But I just think it was something with the catfishing thing. I think what Keegan Klein was doing is he was busting out phones, is what the LE calls it. Meaning this, he would bust out someone's account. He would catfish them and think you're so-and-so, you're this other guy. He's getting pictures. He sells that account login to that conversation or to that total account to somebody, and they begin communicating with that underage girl at that point. They pose like other people. Then they begin to send other underage pornography things that they've accumulated. They begin to change that. One of the videos I'm going to show you is basically, it's not the quote where he says the largest investigation from Keegan Klein, but Doug Carter said they launched the largest CSAM investigation in the history of the state from Keegan Klein's phone. The history of the state. People are still getting arrested. That the Northfleet guy that just got arrested, that they raided the house, I think in July. Frosty was covering that. Maybe I think Turbo was on that too. Waiting for more information from them. That could be linked, maybe not to the murders, but to this Keegan Klein ring. And I know Keegan Klein was sentenced. How can this? How can that? I don't know. But there's too much there. I made it short where I showed you Richard Allen moving court, Keegan Klein moving court, Richard Allen moving court. It was a lot of times, it was either the same day or the next day, or at the very least 2 days later. That's all I queried back. And there was like 15, I think, motions where one was made one day, one was made the next day. And it wasn't Fridays and Mondays and things like that where things stacked up. So I just think there's too many coincidences. The Wabash search, I have my own theory about that. I'm not ready to tell you what I think was in there yet, but I don't think it was a knife. Let me say that, or a sword, or whatever other people think. But it's just too much going on there. And I told you, the other part of my theory is that there was no plan on kidnapping. And I think we know that because where the car was parked, unless there was a car on a private drive and they took off or whatever. But I don't think that happened. I think that he thought that he was going to meet Abby and he was going to somehow talk to her and explain, hey, I know you thought you were talking to this person, but here I'm really this guy and I'm a nice guy. And his inebriated state, I have no proof that he was drunk. I know that he was drinking heavy at the time. I know when Kathy was away, he would play, but I got to think he had to take a couple of drinks if he knew what he was doing. Someone that drinks that much, just to feel normal, maybe not to be drunk, just to feel normal, just diminished faculties, just a little bit. He saw them early on in the trail at some point, okay? How did this happen? Well, if he's seen at the bridge, he's seen on the first, overlook. Betsy Blair walks up, she sees him, she walks back. I don't know if he begins to follow her, but he somehow backtracks back and he sees them earlier on in the trail, meaning before the bridge. He could have passed them walking past, and they were heading toward the bridge. I think he tried to strike up a conversation. I think they scoffed at him. I use this because of what is said later. Is the creepy guy still behind us? They would not have said that if, and that's from Anna Williams and that's from Becky Patty, they both heard the tape separately. And I'm going to play you a video where Anna Williams tells you that guys and down the hill, it comes together. There might be a second in between guys where the girls look up and make like a huh or whatever is what Anna says. And down the hill, it's not split apart and it's not out of order. Now that's from Anna Williams, who heard the video herself. But I think there's a lot more video and audio. There could be something with him on the trail earlier, but I don't think maybe they would have filmed him like they did later on because they didn't know they saw him earlier, okay? They're talking about girls things talk about. I've shared those with you guys too. Those screenshots that law enforcement says. So there's probably, in my opinion, if it took them 10 minutes to walk from the car to the bridge, I got to think there's probably at least 4 to 6 minutes of actual video that they took and plus pictures, maybe a little less video, but they're out there taking pictures, videoing each other, walking, talking. And we know that they're talking. We know that there's video because you can't talk in a picture. So, go back to those screenshots that I shared on my community page where it says law enforcement says they were talking about girls things talk about. So that happened there. He gets to the bridge. They're on the south end. He approaches from the north end, gets him down the hill, pulls out the gun, cocks the gun, gets down the hill. At some point down the hill across the private drive, something happens, probably where Libby's shoe is at the private drive, begins, maybe that's the point of beginning to run. Does the guy fall down? Is he really drunk and fall down, or is he just fall down? It looks like a hard hill. I'd probably break my ankle going down the hill. I'll catch up with the comments in a minute, but I'm rolling here. They see a part where we're going to get away. We're going to run across this creek. I don't think that there's any way in any kind of inebriated state or any kind of state that any killer is going to purposely march girls across the water, regardless of the temperature, regardless of anything. None of that stuff. People said that they march them across to get the scent off a dog. Well, if you do research, that water thing, that's not always true, depending on what kind of dog. Because there's a guy I work with that he does cadaver dogs, and that's not always true. Dogs came, they didn't come, whatever. It was a moot point anyway. I think he gets them across. I think probably somewhere in the stream or right at the edge of the stream, he makes a clubbing blow to Abby. And Libby descends the bank. He somehow convinces Abby to pull Libby up to help him get her up there. And, oh, we're going to be okay or something like that. This is a jump here. This is not said anywhere or anything like that. Something like that happened because the police, the parents, they made statements so many times that the girls could have separated, but they were too good of friends. They were too good of friends. So I looked at the crime scene, the flow, the way I think it went. And to me, that makes the most sense where that happened at. Gets up there. As soon as he gets up, he kind of strikes the fatal blow, then would be to Libby, moves them over. I told you I thought that the sweatshirt was possibly lost in a struggle going up the bank or things like that. How the clothes went from one to the other, I'm not sure. I think that the rage was taken out on Libby, because Libby ruined the fantasy. He thought he was meeting one girl, and I think Libby brought her friend with her just to be sure. Even though he's this really cute young guy, I don't have anything to worry about. And I really believe that that's how that all happened. And I know other people have said other things, that she was the target because she was more, saw to by the killer. But everything that I know and that I've researched says that that's the opposite. One is here, and I do believe they were covered with leaves. Initially, we saw crime scene pictures, or you saw pictures, but who knows when those pictures were from. And I personally haven't seen them. No one sent them to me, and I don't need to see them because they're two pictures out of thousands of pictures. So even if I saw those two pictures, I don't think I'm having any big revelation out of any of it. What's the context of the picture? When was it taken? Was it taken when they first found the girls, or was it taken 2 hours once they removed leaves and sticks? I tell you my theory, I think the leaves and sticks are actually almost like a blind he's trying to make to cover up. That's not uncommon. That's actually highly likely when victims are killed outside. There's usually some kind of attempt to cover them with something like that. And I've said before, and this is where we get to the theory. I showed you the way I think he leaves. I think he goes back across. I think he goes to that barn, shed, shack, whatever you guys want to call it. Let's circle back to me months ago saying maybe everybody's a little bit right. This is a point where I think that everybody might be a little bit right on. Some people said they were killed there. Some people said there's a shack involved. There's a barn involved. It was Logan's land. It was this land. It was all this. Maybe all this is kind of right. No one's exactly right, but everybody has a piece of this story, and it's kind of there. I believe he goes there. He washes up. I definitely think he loses the blue jacket purposely, leaving it there, not knowing, at this point what I'm going to do. Now he's in a post-defense phase. He's in a post-defense phase for a person that we don't know of any previous acts like this. If this is his first time, he's got to be freaking out. He's got to be freaking out. He's going to make mistakes. I think that something else, I think that the murder weapon was left there. And I can't come out here and tell everybody why I think that. And if I'm wrong on it, but I think the coat and that was left. I think that's why he saw Brown later. Just a lot of different things. I don't think it was a kidnapping. This is what I think. I haven't heard anyone come up with this theory. Now I could be 1,000,000% wrong. And if I am, I'll come back and say that I am, and I'll try to do better next time. But something just tells me that in this state that he was in, I believe that he was into fantasy stuff. I still believe he was into Cinderella, or not Cinderella, Alice in Wonderland, and all that stuff from the Reddit, or not the Reddit, but the Pinterest and the goddamn Roblox and all that. I think that he had a very, very vivid fantasy world, and this is just where he came from. Something else that I believe too, and I've talked to people behind the scenes. Should I believe him or not? I don't know. Dave told me that the original defense, whether they come back or not, never believed there was an oath in this theory. They actually believed that Richard Allen had like a mental break, and it's the only way they could explain it. Now, do they know for sure? I don't know. I know that they've talked to members of the defense team, though. Maybe they're trying to blow smoke up my ass. They told me this about 3 months ago. So if they're waiting for me to say it on YouTube, they probably quit watching it. But so we get to that point. He gets out of there. He comes back. He does come back on the motorcycle. I believe that there are track marks next to the property of the lady who owned it, who was away in Arizona. And they had to be something, in my opinion, something a little different, something very noticeable. Because when they see that cover at Allen's house, I think it stands out to somebody. I don't think it's just a random cover. And I also don't think that they're necessarily walking around with pictures of the track saying, oh, you're looking up for this. I think they're looking for other things. I think they found other things, and that's not all going to be, we're not going to know about that yet. He has a woven wooden box wrapped in paper with a two Motorola, I believe, burner phones. And everyone says, everybody has all these phones. Yeah, there was, I think, 15 phones in the house, or 17. 15 were together. These 2 were in his room in a place of prominence, in a box. There's been a theory that he powered one of those on, and that's what caught and picked him up. I know that he didn't have that IMIE or whatever number initially. When Doolin took the report, he noted that. He didn't have this, but he had this. Well, right there, if you hear other people talk, that should have been like, whoa, wait a minute. What kind of phone is this, right? And why don't they say that, oh, Richard Allen was here because his cell phone data tracks here? Because he left his cell phone at home and he brought the burner phone. That's why. That's my theory. That's why. He doesn't have his phone. His phone isn't somewhere else because his phone's at home. His phone might have been even powered off. I don't know. I can't imagine he left it in the car, but that's possible. But I don't think that he had his phone there. I don't think he was looking at stocks. I don't think that. That's my opinion. Those are my 2 cents on that. But anyways, he comes back. He retrieves those items. There's a sink there, and they definitely find something there. They look very hard at Weber, at the son. He had the same kind of gun. They took it for, I think, 6 months. They searched that garage 6 or 8 times or something insane and crazy like that. I know I've talked to other people that, they might think different things or implicate this or that. But right now, I just think that he used that. And I understand he has to go back across the creek for that, but he knew that. I don't believe that he really knew or had a relationship with Ron Logan. He knew he could go there. He knew boom, boom, boom. He knows maybe they're out of town. He knows at least mom's out of town. I'm going to do this. I'm going to come back. So at this point, is it night or is it day? Probably more so within the night. He's going to go back. He's going to go home. He's going to be in the post-defense phase. He's going to be shocked, probably numb, freaking out for a little bit, in my opinion. And then he kind of gathers everything up. It's the first time I heard about the motorcycle being his brother's and going out there and different things like that. I have to look into that. It's an interesting theory, and I'm not going to say he didn't do it. He didn't do anything like that, but I'm glad whoever brought it up. Let me go back here I have a lot of questions and a great chat today. Let me go back up, and get to what you guys were saying. But that's how I have a couple more parts left, and I'm going to do one at the end that kind of tries to link everything together. And I do know that I am going out on a limb here, and I'm putting myself out there by saying this because I could be way wrong about everything, and then people are like, "Wow, you were an asshole. You missed everything." I understand that. I'm confident, but it's okay. I mean, this is how I think I'm going to get better at this. And I can't just keep my stuff inside and say, oh, and then come on here. I knew that. I knew that. I didn't tell you that. I knew that. And then I get a lot of back and forth with people, which I really enjoy, even if they disagree with me. I tell you guys that all the time. And I know a lot of people don't think Keegan Klein's involved. I know a lot of creators that I look up to that I really follow on this, and they don't think he's involved, but I do. So we as long as everyone's being nice to each other. As long as no one talks about the Eagles, I don't think Philly will lose. I know people in Philadelphia don't mess around with their Eagles. Oh, cool. I guess the University of Indiana. Bobby Knight U. Let me see. Philly's coming out to visit, looks like. I'm going to get out there myself in the spring. Philly doesn't think that social media. So that would be, yeah. I don't know what, yeah, I think that it was something online. So it would have to be social media related. So we would disagree there. But I that's what I think. Got a lot of comments. Let me go through. I agree with you there. Unfortunately, even if it's innocent, like, you know what I mean? Yeah, that's always got to be aware, especially younger kids. Okay, good point, Georgia Jakes. However, in the words of Stephen A. Smith, what you heard, and it's only in the Franks motion, is their interpretation of Tony Liggett's deposition. I need to hear Tony Liggett say that because I'm pretty sure he never says that. I'm pretty sure they never say there's no DNA. The only time we ever see this is in the Franks motion that there's not a transcript in there. There's just, this is what he said, blah, blah, blah. So that's how they took it. So we need to, either at least see the transcript. I think something on like this, the transcript could clear it up because it's going to be black and white and definitive. But until I see that, I don't believe that, unfortunately, Georgia, because that's the only place that appears, where they make all these accusations, all these people lied. Well, listen, if we find out that they lied, they need to go to jail. To jail, they're cops, they know better. They need to go to jail. Not only that, but that fucked the case up. So even if it is, and I believe he's guilty, if this comes up, it could be fruit of the poison vine stuff. But again, the only time we've heard that is from two defense attorneys that wanted us to believe this was an odious sacrifice. So, but you could be right. And I'll come back on and tell you, yeah, you were right. I was wrong. But I need to hear that deposition or I need to see that transcript, my opinion. Yeah, I don't know a whole lot about her. Ruckus is here. What's up, Ruckus? New coach in New England. First time in like 25 years. I know you're not up there anymore, but the Pats are your team. I agree with you, Philly's finest here. And I think almost everyone on my chat will agree with you there. The family thing to me, if you're still hung up on the family, I don't watch people that are hung up on the family. They could have their opinions and their points. But I think it says more about them than it does about the family or any case. And I hope that they find some kind of peace because I think that they're lacking it, if they're going in that route. But those are my 2 cents on that. Fairy tale of the Kelsey brothers. I think Philly's going to put it back together in the playoffs. They're too good they played crappy at the end of the year. All right. Yeah. I don't know who Philly's finest either is, but as long as everyone passes their thoughts around nicely, I have no problem with it. You definitely don't have to agree with me. Looking back, I don't think they could have released more about the crime scene that would have gathered meaningful leads from the public. Yeah, you know what? I never really thought about that, but I know everybody was, we need to know this. And that was more of like, we just want to know what happened. But could it have helped lead to a tip? You're probably right. I never really thought of it that way, but that makes sense. I have a theory about that, Philly's finest, but I don't know if I'm right on that. And it's a pretty big theory. That was a big date, though, wasn't it, in this investigation? October 13th. Yes. So that's freaky on there. But well, hey, I saw it too, and I can't usually see shit in pictures. You know, a lot of people say this, and then you see this in a picture, and I don't see things in pictures, and I don't want people to get mad, like, oh, you just don't think this is real. Like, for instance, a lot of people say that the photo of the bridge is not taken at that time or whatever. I don't subscribe to that theory. I think it's real. I think it was taken at that time. I don't think it's edited or doctored or anything like that. Now, that being said, if it was, I don't know if it's my sight because I'm getting old. Stuff that's up close like that, I can't see, like, I can't differentiate things. I must need a magnifying glass. So a lot of that, I'm not knocking people to believe that because this is Delphi and really anything can happen. But I believe the girls were there. I believe that picture was taken then. I don't see anyone in the background. I've seen other people point out to different places. There's something here. Yeah, it looks like something, but I can't definitively tell you. Like, if NASA couldn't fix this photo, and I don't understand that, but hey, you know, whatever. And I think that if there was a better photo, they would have put it out. I just don't think that they have one. I think that they're going to have bridge guy pictures on other phones, and whether trail cams worked or didn't. But I don't know. I don't think there's anything definitive to say that is this guy. But you will be able, I think that you'll be able to see him at least a couple places, dressed in that ensemble, maybe coming back dressed in the brown. I don't know that for sure. That's speculative. I didn't include that in my theory, but that's something that I thought about. So, yeah, the cigarette butts. Well, something that's always interesting to me is the cigarette butt in the creek it's only been here a couple of days. I don't know how long cigarette butts last. I mean, obviously, once they're on the ground or even in the water, the filter comes out. But I don't know how you age cigarette butts. That's what I believe too. Yeah. So it's still possible for what Philly said if it was a different bike, but regardless, that's what I believe too. And you know, maybe the cops were, you know, maybe they did have a picture of the tracks. Now that I'm thinking of it, if this is something big and we found something in this garage, in this outbuilding on this property, and we see these fresh tracks, and let's say we know that these people haven't been here, or theorizing, I don't know if the son was there or not, or he doesn't have a bike or whatever, you know, we think that whoever was on this motorcycle had something to do with this. So maybe they were looking at it as you're just searching for people. Does this guy have a bike? Does this guy have this, guy have that? Blah, 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 blah. Yeah. So, and the other thing too, if I'm not mistaken, and I could be wrong, I don't know a lot about Kathy Allen's brother, but wasn't he killed in a motorcycle accident? And it's not always true, but if you're killed in a motorcycle accident, the ones that I've been to in my career, which has been motorcycle versus vehicle, motorcycle total, been 4 where people have died. The motorcycle is in no kind of shape to be ridden, so they have to be fixed. Would a family go and put money in a motorcycle that the guy got killed on? I don't know. Maybe not. But I'm just thinking now as that starts to come out. Yeah. Yeah, I think that a lot of people in the town, from what I could tell, knew that they went. That at least Kay went to Arizona. She was like a snowbird. Here we call them snowbirds in Pennsylvania. They usually go to Florida for the winter. People that are older have a couple bucks. You know, they come back here in the summer because you don't have that extreme heat in Florida. It gets hot here, but you don't have the hurricanes, things like that. We get storms, but nothing crazy. Burning number should still turn up in the data. Yeah, it is. I believe it is, George. I believe it is turned up in the data, except it doesn't have a registered user or an IMEI. I think it's IMEI. But they have it. They knew that it hit. They knew that whatever was going on then. He was accessing some kind of information or downloading something or on a chat or whatever he was doing, that they have that information, but everyone else's phones, they can tie an IMEI to that. And I hope I'm saying that right, because I'm not a phone person at all. And his didn't have it, which I think right away we should have been like, well, dude, what the fuck's up with your phone? As long as I'm understanding that right, that would be very odd. But he had these other numbers. Oh, well, I did see that. That's all. I didn't know that. I guess if you had the login for whatever app was being used or whatever, in my theory, if you had the login and you were able to go in any kind of phone and hey, let's meet here. I hadn't heard that yet, Ruckus. But I assume there were burners. And again, this is just me theorizing that those two phones in his bedroom were two phones that he used for, let's say, nefarious purposes. And I think that they found CSAM. And I know that the Franks, they didn't find this, they didn't find that. That's all opinion. That's all opinion. They can't necessarily outright lie in there, but that's all opinion. So what you boil down to the Franks motion at the end of the day, it's 150 some pages. They only looked at 11 or 12 pages because the rest of it wasn't relevant. The rest of it was an end run around the gag order, which I understand why they did it. They're going all out for their clients. So they're going to get this Odinism thing out because, oh, yeah. And then it just so happens that Abby's boyfriend's dad is a little bit kooky. Give it to you. He's a practicing Odinist. Give it to you. But look at all the things that it's riddled with mistakes. Farrency, these guys, they didn't even have the right police departments that they worked at. The Richard Allen Odinist thing, the Odinist guard patches. Read that paragraph and then read the bottom. At the bottom, it says he never said that. He could have said that, but he didn't say that. So, and no one ever saw them that day. And I don't think the defense ever believed it. I really don't. I really, really don't. And I think it's odd that people will bring up the West Memphis 3, and then they're pushing the Odinism theory. So they've juxtapositioned the satanic panic. They went all the way around the spectrum. They went from being against it to now like supporting this theory. And, it'll all come out. People have asked me, will the new defense pick up the Odinist theory? I don't know enough about law. Personally, I would, because I think it's gained a lot of traction on social media platforms. Social media has changed this case. You look at some of the things that the defense, some of the people that they cited, and I'm just like, that's the best you can do. No offense to anybody, but like, come on, man. But hey, I think it'll come out, and I think we'll see all this. I think that there's more confidential informants. We know of at least, I think, 12. We were talking about the AutoZone guy today. I assume it's a guy, and I don't know what it was about. I've heard conjecture, and I can't say for sure what that was about. But I think that there's two big ones. There's two big ones, and there's someone that I really dislike that's pushing it right now, but they're correct about it. But I'm not going to say it. I think that there's two big ones, and I think that they will be attacked, even though that they're who they are. But anyways, let me catch up with the chat. I'm going to show you some things. Well, thank you, Georgia. This is good. This helps me with my with the theories and stuff, just like talking to people. Because then someone shoots something back at you, and maybe they disagree with you, and you got to sit there and think like, "Oh shit, hold on a second," Yeah, I heard that too. Both girls and an unknown male, they didn't have the points for it. I think you need 9 or something like that. Yeah, justice for Libby and Abby. And if you're for that, first and foremost, you got no problems with me. We could disagree how we're going to get there, and I'm cool with that. Absolutely, absolutely. I believe that too, Ruckus, that he did that. Oh, I think he is too. I really do. I just think it's just too much coincidencing going on. I never watched his podcast, George. And I tell you what, the reason that the tush push works is because of Kelsey. Now, Hurts bench press is 600 pounds. That doesn't hurt. No pun intended. But Kelsey, and they changed the rule with him moving the football because they'd be like half a yard. So he'd get on the ball and he'd move it up almost to the first down marker. And then they called that penalty at the end of that. Was it the Buffalo game or something like that? Kelt's on to something. Odd timing. Did somebody start a live somewhere or something? Maybe you're not going down that route, Kelt. Maybe I am. Jinx agrees. I like how you guys think. We got some deductive peeps in the chat. I don't know who he is. And like I said, he could send me anything. I assume it's a guy. I do that too much. Yeah, check out podcast police interviews. I played them before. They're in my Delphi things. Multiple people say that. Michael Catt gets Kim Riley somehow to admit that they had something comparable to run. Fingerprint. I don't know what it was, but that's when he was like, "Oh, I didn't even know that they were we ran something in a database." So he doesn't say that, but he's like, "It's like this person never committed a crime." And that Michael Catt, I don't know how he would just go up to people and they would just spill to him. I realize that, but there are yes/no questions. Defense isn't going to lie if they get caught. Well, I don't know. It'd be hard to see what I understand about the Franks motion, and admittedly, it's not a lot. They could pretty much outright lie. It's really hard to prove that they did, that they lied on purpose. They could say, "Well, I had bad information at the time. I didn't have all the discovery at the time, blah, blah, blah." Whether they did or not, I don't know. But again, the actual deposition, or at least the transcript, will tell that tale. So I don't believe the defense in that particular situation. Now, I could see the transcript tonight. Someone could email it to me, and I could come back on here and say, "I was wrong because they idiots lied." Now they need to be arrested, because they need to be, if they did say that. You can't lie in a deposition, and you can't be holding your cards like maybe they are with some of the information. We're going to hold that back. Well, no, you're in a deposition, so you have to answer that now. So I just like to see how all that comes back. I would think that that's something that we would see at trial. I don't think that that's anything that they would hide. I think you would probably get a transcript, and you would probably, if the trial was televised or something, you would probably be able to watch the deposition interview, which is good. I still wish we would have the judges, not just the transcript, but their actual audio. I think I could tell a little bit more, in my opinion, about how everybody was feeling and things like that. I don't know if he got blocked. I didn't see anything too crazy. I don't know if anyone did or not. I don't know. Well, hopefully he emails me, or she. I keep saying, see, Frank, I heard different. That's interesting. I'll have to talk to you about that. Yeah, because that could change where. Yeah, we'll talk. I always like to talk to Frank. Frank always keeps it real with me, and he's the doc dude. He gets the documents. I think it's okay to tell you that you're going that Frank's going to the hearing on the 18th. I don't know. Well, there's no reason to do that, to change. I mean, I could have missed a comment. I didn't see him or her doing anything, but well, sorry you're leaving, Sarah. Dinner time, Georgia. Eat good. I ate a little bit early today. Tacos. What's up, CJK? Bossy. See, I haven't even heard that, Bossy. That's interesting. I watched all the chopper footage and stuff like that, just to see if I saw someone on a motorcycle. And I know it was the next day. But yeah. Anyways. Gee, other people. I've heard that too. I always tell you guys this: go back early on in the interviews and listen, because they tell you so much stuff. Okay, you answered a question for me that I didn't know if Weber owned a motorcycle or not. Kel, if you look, it's odd because if you go on Google Maps, I don't think you could see their house from up above. And there's no pictures back from that street. Well, from what I could tell. And apparently that was by design by her son, who didn't want anyone back there. So you could see an address. If you could find their address, you can go and look, and there's a dot in the woods. So as far as I could tell, no, it's not. It's actually on the other side. You would have to cross back over and went back. But I've never been there on the ground yet, because I'm going out in the spring for the Aaronford floor. Even though the house is down in Florida, I still have to go there. Do whatever. And but from what I could tell from the maps and stuff like that, it is not. I agree with you, tall man. Now, there was always a rumor that the whoops, let me put your, oh, there it is. That the Webbers weren't working. I don't know if that's true or not, but I got to think that they're a lot. There's got to be some, and I can't imagine that they weren't working for him, because he was such a like stay off my property type of dude, as we know. Oh, okay. Again, I'm going to check that live out from last night. And then, yeah, Bossy, I hope I did a good job describing it. I probably didn't. Yeah, I will, checking out what Tall Man says. When did RA leave stuff in a garage? I don't, again, I don't think that's the south side of the bridge. I'm trying to picture the map in my head. Immediately after, the theory that I have is, anyway, I can't only speak for myself. Immediately after, he drops the coat. And again, I think he's able to wash up there. You know, Frank mentioned there wasn't a sink, which he could totally be right and I could be wrong. But there was somehow, some way of him stashing things there and rinsing off, washing off something, because he knew it was there. My opinion. Yeah, that's my theory. Well, the discovery is, there's a whole lot of the discovery that's, I don't know if everybody's seen it all. Like, you're talking about like the Woodhouse, like everything that got leaked, or I haven't seen everything that got leaked. I've seen a couple index pages, but there's no information. You can only guesstimate, you know, wow, I wonder what this means. I wonder what that means. The tracks and motorcycle contaminated the subpoenas and the search warrants. You know, Shane, I did a thing on them. I did a couple shows on them, and let me just say, without wafting anything any other way, that Jason Baldwin, in my opinion, is 1,000% innocent. Past that, I don't know anymore. I don't. I just don't. Terry Hobbs is involved somehow, some way, some shape, some form. I don't know how, but I don't know. I know that's kind of cryptic, because I haven't even finished like my opinion on it, because all the new stuff that's coming out, it's just crazy. Yeah, there's carvings out there. Someone has had pictures. I agree with you, tall man. I don't have the receipts either that these guys are asking for, but 24th or the 14th? Probably mean the 14th, I think. Yeah, don't take any offense, honeybee. Ruckus does what he wants. But you guys are all okay. I think Ruckus is basically saying, without putting words in his mouth, this is all going to come out. And, you know, maybe people don't want to say, hey, I know this because of so-and-so, because someone trusted me with something. And that's hard for people to get. I get it. Oh, someone told you something. Someone said that to me. Oh, they told you something, so I'm supposed to believe you. And they're like, yeah, but come on. You know what I mean? So I get it. See, I didn't hear he lived next to him. Yeah, I'm with you there. I don't think anyone should blame the family, and people will push whatever narrative that they push. And the funny thing about the leaks is, in my opinion, they came from the defense side and from law enforcement, but the defense side and the law enforcement, or maybe former law enforcement, were working in tandem, if you know where I'm going with that. Yeah, but, don't get mad, tall man. Whenever you say something like that, that's good. I'm with you. I agree with you there. But when you say it, just like, hey, I think that this is what it is. So if you make a definitive statement and someone says, well, how do you know that for sure? Don't take offense to it. Say, well, hey, I don't know that for sure, but let me tell you, this is the road I walked down on it. And, people have that good back and forth. And again, I didn't see anything in here that was too much, but that was it. But I haven't seen all this. That's a good. I see Ruckus. I often wonder if he does plead out. I'm not saying he is. If he does plead out, will we still know everything? I guess we'll know enough, right? We'll at least know the story. We'll know if there's any other actors implicated or not. So, oh, Honeybee's by herself modding. We got to give her some leeway for that. A lot of people chatting, which is awesome. No, I don't think so. We've talked about this, but not like in specifics. He might be one of the only people that maybe, I don't know, that has it. I don't know. He knows more than me about it, but it's a question for Ruckus. Now, one of the rumors was that he wouldn't take a plea deal because they wanted a full allocation, which means you got to go up and say what you did in front of everybody. That was a rumor. Don't know if that was true or not. And at that point, talks broke down, and then, the Franks memo and everything else started coming out. Whether that's true or not, I don't know. Do they have to? Ruckus might be able to answer a little better, although in Indiana, who knows? Probably not. They'd probably want that. I'm sure that the prosecution would want that for two reasons. One, for the actual family. If you want to hear this is what happened. And listen, I don't knock Nick McClelland, but you don't think Nick McClelland would be up there, hair all slicked back, looking all cool. This guy's giving everything up, and I made him do it. So, yeah, partially for the families, and the other partially maybe ego stroke. I got this guy where I want him, blah, blah, blah. So, see, again, it would make sense to me, but I can't say that for sure. Can't say that for sure. Personally, me. But that's the theory that some of us are subscribing to. Kelt, I believe it's not on the south side. It's actually, so if he would have went off the bridge down the south side, crossed the creek. He'd have had to cross back the creek, and it would have to be on the north end then. I'm trying to picture how the bridge is without a darn compass in my head. But I don't think so. If you look at my last, I don't know if it was a video I did for part 3 or not. I think it was part 3. I have him leave, and I show you where he goes, where there's a dot, and then it's back over. And I'm pretty sure that that's going to be on the other end of the bridge, not the south. Yeah, Ruckus is a guy that wants you to do your own work. He did that to me, and I'm friends with him. So don't take anything personal, anybody, if you will. In the words of Dusty Rhodes. My son's home. That's my dog's excited running around. If you hear it. Yeah, the pings. See, the thing with the pings too, it's all a little confusing. It still is to me, but I think that they have more than pings. Does that make sense to you? Yeah, they have phone information with more than pings. I don't even know how else I could explain that. because I'm not going to do a good job at it. But I know what you're saying about the two towers, though. So the thought process is here, Sandy, and again, it's a theory that there was a picture that was taken from the search warrant. 10/13 was the start date of the Richard Allen search warrant, not his arrest, the day they stood outside and stuff like that. So a picture was taken from his home of the crime scene. And I'm not laughing because I don't necessarily think it's true or believe it. It's just so fucking crazy. But a picture was either taken from a device. I've heard of device, and I've heard an actual hard copy of a picture was taken somewhere from his home from that date. On that date, and that's why they marked that as evidence. And if it was taken on a phone, they printed it out and they wrote 10/13 because that's the date that they took it. The day they marked it as evidence, if you will. So that's the theory. I cannot prove that. But I got to be honest. I think that there's a little something to that personally. And I got no receipts to show you. I just got the way I'm leaning with it. And I look at the preponderance of everything and a lot of things in that search and look at what they were looking for. Look at what they took. Very specific pieces, very specific places. It wasn't like a general, hey, we're coming in and kicking doors. It wasn't your Ron Logan boilerplate, if you would, type of search warrant, which I thought was very descriptive, but I found out it's like a boilerplate thing. So, but that could be an FBI thing too. FBI just might have like a standard. Well, my theory would be, tall man, that he went there to the Weber garage to retrieve what he left there, blue coat, possibly knife. That's my theory. If I'm wrong, I'll come back and tell you. You could all beat me up. But that's where I'm at with it. I've just seen too much to make me think that. Yeah, he probably does. If I just a little further reach, being former police, talking to people. But yeah, don't take it the wrong way, because I'll ask him shit and he'll be like, I ain't telling you. You figure it out. I don't know what he left on the south side, Kelt. I haven't heard about him leaving anything on the south side. Him personally, Bridge Guy personally, or RA, that's who I think it is. We could say RA personally left something on the south side. I haven't heard that, unless I'm misunderstanding you. Well, Ruckus, I think Hiawatha means that you used to be a cop and that you're smart. You know how you cops are. Ain't trying to tell a fireman shit. Oh, Georgia Jakes, I'd like to know if Weber's alibi checked out. I've always heard he got there 3:30. That's a good question, Georgia Jakes. I have not been able to prove that one way or the other. And I'm not saying I'm wafting any blame toward him at all. Police certainly did, but I don't know. I don't know that. If anyone can help me with that, I haven't been able to find his alibi or whatever he said. Yeah. All right, I'm just going real quick through all this stuff here. Sorry if I miss anything. But I do want to show you two things before I get out of here. So let me share my Gmail thing. And I hope it clears two things up. And I want to show you guys something at the very end. We have a missing child from McKeesport, my town. He's actually 12 years old. And I don't know exactly what's going on. I'm hearing some things that are really bad, but nothing I'm able to confirm with yet. So let me make sure, because I'm so tech savvy, you guys know that we are actually on the right page. Just give me 1 second as I check my phone. Okay, there he is. Whoops, sorry, let me turn it down. So it's Khalil Fairby, 12 years old, black male, 5 foot tall, 110 pounds. He was last seen Tuesday, January 9th, around right after school, 400 block of Penny Street. Penny Street is downtown near the post office. Last seen wearing a V-neck sweater, black pants, green shoes, and a black puffer coat. Probably, to be honest, one of the coats that we give out, because that's what they look like. I don't remember. I don't know this kid personally, but we're hearing some things that aren't good. So hopefully that's not the case, and hopefully he does come home. But as of this hour, as far as I know, he is still missing. Exposed to be around this area here. So if you guys are from out of town, like I know a lot of you are, or not from my town anyway. So let me show you something here. And it's an old Anna Williams interview, and I showed you this a couple times before. But I want to show you two things in here, if I may, and I will let everyone get out of here. So the first thing that we're going to talk about here, I'm going to make sure this is coming up. Share this tab instead. There we are. That's better. So I'm going to play for you. First, this talk here is about the guys down the hill. So hopefully we can put this to bed, because I know a lot of people have said a lot of different things. It was said at different times, and it isn't. And I totally believe Anna. I mean, I don't have a reason not to believe her. I know other people, maybe they won't. And again, this is the Jason Herbert channel. He was actually gone for a while, and he's back. But I'm going to play this in right about here.
Together one sentence. I'm saying it wasn't. What do we know as far as that for sure? I've read all different things, so I want to get it from you to make sure.
Let me just go back
because the FBI did all the backgrounds. Nothing indicating in when they popped up, when Libby took the picture of Abby on the end of the bridge, and then where we have this audio thing going. Is there any indication they're like, oh, that's so-and-so, that's somebody's brother, that's so-and-so's uncle, that's Mr. So-and-so? They don't seem to have any inclination. We know that a lot.
So again, it's not somebody that they know. In my opinion, she heard the video. Becky says the same thing. They listened to it independently. It wasn't like, oh, that's so-and-so or that's that. They say, is this creepy guy still back there? But what she's going to get to here, let me go up a little bit further, is talking about when the things are said. Guys and down the hill.
Thing going. Is there any indication they're like, oh,
together one sentence? I'm saying it wasn't. What do we know as far as that for sure? I've read all different things, so I want to get it from you to make sure.
There is less than a 3-second gap of the guys and down the hill in all legitimate form about the time that somebody would to greet you and you were to respond and then say down the hill is the amount of time. Hey guys, down the hill.
So hopefully that helps with everybody with what, people said. This is split up. This is out of order. This is Anna Williams telling you that it comes sequentially, and it comes within about 3-second period of time. It's in the same cut. I know that it sounds different. The voices sound different, right? And I understand that. I get that. I always thought that maybe the phone was facing one way, and then in the meantime, she turned around and the phone was facing the other way. The microphone was different. I'm not a phone guy. I don't know that for sure. I can't say that for sure, but that's a theory I have. Now, the other thing I want to talk about is I was watching a show last night, and they were talking about how many people were there that day. You'll be surprised to hear how many people were there, according to Anna.
As far as how many people were out there, but I know that it was a fair day of over 50 degrees. Lots of people said, yeah, our kids were out walking about that day, but I couldn't tell you how many. I believe the count is at least 50. There are people that have
50.
pressed to actually have the names and numbers actually released for whatever reason, like that's supposed to help, because you can just, it's an active investigation, people. You don't get to demand anything from the police department. I don't care if you go to the attorney general and sign your petitions. they will do what they have to. And so I know what I know. And that was a nice enough day that lots of people.
So interesting. Certainly interesting. Right there. I don't know if you guys have ever heard that or not. Me read some couple messages here, and I'm going to get out of here. I appreciate everybody for coming in, everybody for commenting. Ugh. Frank is here. What's up? Good point. Interesting. Keep going down that route. I haven't been able to find too much other than, maybe two people, blah, blah, blah. Oh. Well, Tall Man and Frank, you can agree to disagree. That would be fine. I agree with you wholeheartedly here, this account. Wholeheartedly. And I see YouTube, police, a lot of people might have done things to kind of muddy these waters. And that's the last thing that anyone should be doing. But it's just been, I haven't been in too many cases, but this one is just like, oh my goodness gracious. I have a positive degree to do a live with Frank if something happens. I'd like to see it. I'd watch it. I like the eyes work. I don't agree with the eye. I don't know if it's eyes or guy or girl. They do really good videos, but I believe that that picture was real. All that stuff was real. They will. Well, actually, I imagine they let the jury listen to it. The false confession thing, I actually did some research on that. And all the data that I could find with false confessions is given to police during interrogations and interviews. I haven't found any data giving it to the family. So what you're going to say if you think he's innocent. Well, if that's true with Richard Allen, what about Elvis Fields? Well, there's a lot more to Elvis Fields than is in the Frank's memorandum. And I wouldn't put the stuff in the Frank's memorandum about Elvis Fields and his two sisters because it doesn't help the Richard Allen case. But you could do some digging around there. I actually messaged him. He read it, but didn't message me back because I wasn't like, attacking or this or that. And I think the guy, he's a diminished mental capacity. And I think people were making fun, using him as a joke. And he went around repeating things. And, sister passed the polygraph. Yes, she did. I think she believed what he was saying initially. But then look later on what happens. Oh, no, it wasn't him. This was blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah. So it's all very, there's not a lot there. There's not a lot of meat on that bone, in my opinion. And they jumped on that tells me they don't have really anything else. If they're doing that and they're citing that the people that they're citing, they're getting tips from, off my own, huh? But again, that's just my 2 cents. And I don't knock anyone for believing different. As long as, I'm pretty sure on that. But if you look at that, like I said, it was my last, it was part 3. And I do like a little thing where I have them moving and then, moving back. But you can look up the name and you'll get the property address. I haven't seen a picture of it. I couldn't find a picture of it. Now, I watched the captain's video the other day, and I enjoy his channel a lot. I always watch the captain stuff. Always makes me think. It's very well done videos, which I appreciate now. And stuff's a little bit cryptic, but it's not too bad. But you got to pay attention. And he's sitting there in a chair. I like all of it's awesome. The optics are incredible. I watch everything he puts out. And as he put the thing about the barn in there, and I was getting ready for part 4 of my video, I'm like, oh, man, 2 things. First thing I thought is, oh, he's going to get that out there before me. Not that really matters. And then I thought for a second, like, oh, people are going to think I'm copying off of him. Well, I don't think that would be terrible. But if I'm going down this direction and he's leaning that way, that makes me feel good. Maybe I'm on to something here. Maybe I'm right. So anyways, I'm a fan of his. I don't know if you guys are or not, but check him out. He does very, very good videos, very good work on a lot of stuff. I think Ruckus held on for dear life because I think Steve drives really, really fast. Yeah. You know what, Kelch? You're exactly right. You're exactly right there. He does a lot of good stuff like that. Yeah. But there's something that I think, and again, I don't know this for sure, but I understand this technology, but there's something past that with like global positioning and things like that. So I don't know if that's what happened or not. I don't know. I think we're going to find out. And I think once we find out, it's going to make sense to us. You know, they got that data warrant for all the this and that, and then they were able to track everybody down, except in my opinion, for one phone, because that phone didn't have any owner registered to it. Yeah, and you know what? Some people do that just to do that, and some people do that with the information, and they shouldn't tell you. But what I would say to them is just don't bring it up then. Don't bring it up. What's up, Johnny? Johnny listening in. Yeah, there you go. It's good when you get stuff like that, you know, for me anyway, and hopefully it's the same what you say, Andy. When you get like a little, what you consider maybe a hot tip or something you don't know about, boom, I got to go dig into that now. So the next 2 hours or whatever, if I have free time, boom, I'm into that. Okay, hey, you know, what do we have here? Sometimes it comes back and sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it strengthens the theory that you had originally, and sometimes it blows things out of the water that you thought. Whoops. Oh, there you go. Maybe he could use you and drag you around instead of his wife for the next demonstration. I don't think so, Kelt. I don't know that for sure, but I don't think so, because I think that when he came back a different way. I don't know if that makes sense or not. I'm a little behind in the chat. I apologize. So this is about the Weber property. If I'm picturing it right in my head, it's the north side of the bridge. They come down the bridge, they go across the creek. He's going to have to come back across the creek to go to that garage or that outbuilding, as I know it. And I know that's a problem for people. Why would he go back? Well, I think he threw some things in the creek that were covered in his blood, in my opinion. Hey, T, I was just talking about you a couple minutes ago. The video I just played, I sent to her in a Discord because I was listening last night while I was cleaning up around my house, and they were talking about the people at the scene. And it's hard to believe that, but there's Anna Williams telling you there was 50 people there. Now, that's not at that moment. That's during that day. 50 people there. So it would make sense for there to be a lot of sketches of a lot of different people. I know that I call it the Keebler Elf sketch. People say, could that be Elvis Fields? Sure, it's possible. You know, I don't know. But hey, we're good to see you. Everybody saying hi. Did Hoosier Harvest Store or any other cams confirm when he said he did? Not when he said he did. Not at that time when he went to the fish store. As far as I know, with Logan, they have him at the transfer station, and I don't know if they have him on any other cameras. But depending on which way he went, that's a good point. That could have helped rule him out too, so to speak. I don't know. But you think that they'd have had that evidence early on. They didn't seem to really rule him out, if you want to call it that. That's probably a bad way to say it, till later on, in my opinion. But that's a good question. As far as I know, no. I haven't heard it. That's a good question. I don't mean to laugh. I don't know that for sure. He's not on the list that I have. I have like 2 pages, 2.5 pages, because it's hard to see the bottom, and I don't see him there. But I could totally see him guarding the land. Ruckus, you're right. Good neighbor to have. You have some problems, you go see Steve. Steve will take care of you. Need to get somewhere fast? Steve will get you there. I'll give you Tobe's number. Well, I am getting ready to take off. Oh, Kelt already has Tobe's number. Sorry, Shane. Oh, no, Hiawatha. 2 kids missing from Indiana today, ages 1 and 2. That's terrible. Without knowing anything about the story, it has to be a family member or they were left in a running car. Usually kids aren't aren't abducted from a home. Lindbergh baby-esque, if you will. But hopefully they're returned. Hopefully it's someone in the family and they're not hurting them, or goodness gracious. Yep. Anyone seen anything about the young man I showed you before? Please share it. Hey, Melissa, devoted to Mariah, saying hi to everybody here, catching up late. Jinx, I still think I have to make you a moderator again. Somehow that got screwed up. Just scrolling through everybody, make sure I got everyone to say hi. I thank you all for coming in. We're about an hour 30. This is 20 minutes or so more than I like to go. I hope I brought something to you today. You agree or disagree with my theory. I'm not going to play my video here. If you want to go watch it, they're all about 3 or 4 minutes long. I did want to explain everything like I kind of did and kind of make like a cogent argument, if I would, for my theory. So up to the point we are now, part 5 will come out. I'm not going to get into the legal stuff because every time I read a legal document and I know what this means, and then I talk to somebody and they're like, that's not what that means. So I've given up on that. I'll listen to other people. I listen to the Frank Meister, to the attorneys that shows Lopez, Defense Diaries, prosecutors, people like that. You know what I mean? And I know there's always a little argument from their side in there, but at the end of the day, you get to the nitty gritty with the X's and O's and make stuff black and white. So there'll be probably one more where I cover, accomplices, and I want to put that in quotation marks, and that'll be explained to you when you see it. There's one twist and or turn in there that I think a lot of people that have followed me or have talked with me for a while are going to be a little bit surprised, but it's something that I can't ignore, and it'll be in there. So probably the next 10 days or so I'll have that. I'm going to be doing the Kimmy Krimm walk here in the next couple of days. As soon as this wind dies down so I can get a good video, I'll be able to show it to you. We'll take the path that she took from her house on Evans Avenue. I don't know if the hole in the fence is still there, through the hole in the fence to the cemetery, all the way for her first shoe was lost, up round down the hill. Her second shoe was found, and then I'll show you where she was actually recovered, obviously. And then there's a little memorial down at the bottom of the hill, so I'll let everyone see that too. It's really nice, but it's all in a cemetery. Ralph might come with me there possibly, but let me make sure I didn't have anything. Yeah, thank you, mods, everyone that was in here. Oh, Shane talking about the people. Yeah, I heard her talking about that, and I was doing stuff, and I didn't have time. I was going to message her right then and there. I don't know if she saw it to play it or not, but it's a very interesting video. And within that video, to me, it clears up about 5 different things. It's about an hour and a half. He also does an interview with Becky and Mike Patty. And again, the guy's name is Jason Herbert. He was dormant for a while, and I just saw a thing where he's coming back. He does really, really good stuff on a lot of different things. So thank you to all the moderators tonight. Jinx, I don't know if I made you moderator or not. I hope I did. Honeybee's in there working. As Mother of All Dragons, whoever else. I got to add some more moderators. I'm sorry. So if you come in here and you see a wrench by your name, definitely. I think I just made Jinx a moderator on my phone. Anyone else want to be a moderator? Bossy, you're a moderator. Shane, you a moderator on any channels yet? You're one on mine now. I I think I figured it out, Jinx. I'm like Nikola Tesla over here with my technology now. Look at me. I'm just doing this to be funny. And I know he doesn't want to do it, but I just made Ruckus a moderator too. Oh. Oh, he just texted me and said he would. Well, guess what, Ruckus? You're already in. Well, I thank you all. Hopefully everyone wants to do it. If you don't want to do it, tell me or take yourself off. But I appreciate everyone's help. I appreciate everyone's support. We're at 1:30. I'm going to let you go. It's 8 o'clock. There's probably some cool stuff on tonight. YouTube, I'm not exactly sure. No football on to the weekend. Steelers play Sunday at 1. Supposed to get lake effect snow. Plus 10 points is too many, folks. I'm not a homer. Plus 10 points is too many. So hold on. I don't want to miss anybody. It's just Deb's a moderator too. Yeah, Shane, you could kick some people out and shit like that. Oh, Steve is on. Well, there you go, guys. CJK, welcome to the family. I'm like Oprah. You're a moderator. You're a moderator. You're a moderator. Go watch the Chiefs. They're going to be cold games, CJK. I saw that. Hold on. Sorry. Kelt is in now, too. I might have more moderators than Gray Hughes right now. All right, everybody. Thank you. All the wrenches. If you don't like your wrench, you could tell me. I'll take you off, but hopefully you are all cool. And I'm flattered that I need a lot of moderators. And I'm flattered that I have a lot of good people that are willing to do it. So, yeah, that's okay, Shane. You're proper enough. None of us are right all the way here. And I wouldn't have it anyway. Let me tell you something. I would never join a club that would have someone like me as a member. Okay? I'm going to get out of here. Let's go watch Steve. Go watch your favorite creator. Like, share, subscribe. Buy stuff if you like it. Your favorite creators. Help the algorithm. If you don't like people, don't listen to them. Don't click on them. Don't just, keep it moving. They're running their thing. You do yours. So I'm going to get out of here. Before we get out of here, I'm going to drink my tea out of a carton like I do, Turners, and say go Steelers on Sunday. And tentacles. Everybody drink up. Coach Kev, out.